Hi, a very good afternoon, everyone. Great to have you all here, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. So, we are all set for the EPR Helpdesk live session on e-waste and battery waste compliances. You can join in our WhatsApp community for all the latest regulatory updates and upcoming webinars. You can simply scan the QR code on your screen and you can get started. Kindly allow me to introduce you to our organization, A A Garg Co. And we are a management consulting firm and subject matter experts under the domain of circularity and sustainability. We specialize in domain of EPR, ESG, corporate finance and business operations, and various tech-enabled solutions. At A2G, we are passionately committed to delivering value-added services that not only meet your goals, but also leave a lasting positive imprint. Now, with over 5 years of domain knowledge and expertise, A2G has guided numerous companies to successfully meet their EPR objectives and compliance requirements across multiple obligated waste streams. Now, I would like you to introduce our experts that are going to help you navigate this EPR journey. So, EPR Helpdesk is simply a platform wherein we are going to address all your queries related to EPR. Since annual return filing is approaching and there are a lot of confusion in the market, like what is how to file annual returns, how to do your registration, what documents are required. So we were receiving a lot of queries, which is why we came up with this EPR help desk. Now, this is going to be the first session in this particular series, wherein we have started with addressing your queries related to e-waste and battery waste. We will continue this series through entire June. So next Wednesday, again, we are connecting for e-waste, battery, used oil, and tire. So now to help you understand all of these queries, we are going to start this session with some latest updates, which will be covered by one of our in-house experts. And then we will start taking up the questions that we have received from all the participants while you were registering. So, joining us today, we have a panel of distinguished experts, each bringing a unique blend of technical mastery, regulatory insight, and hands-on experience in EPR and sustainability advisory. So, firstly, we have Ms. Ipsita Roy. She's a senior manager at A A Garg Company, and Ms. Roy brings deep subject matter expertise in EPR regulations and waste management practices. She has been instrumental in educating corporates on environmental responsibility, particularly in critical sectors like plastic packaging, e-waste, and battery waste, helping them understand and implement best practices in sustainability. Then we have Mr. Sujain Jain. He is a chartered accountant. With 5 years of experience, he blends deep expertise in corporate finance with specialized consulting in EPR and ESG. Sujain has led packaging footprint analysis for major FMCG companies across Asia, helping translate complex regulatory requirements into clear, actionable roadmaps. Next, we have Mr. Rohan Sawant. He's a senior manager at Circu Ventures Private Limited, and he's a mechanical engineer with 15 years of experience, including 6 years in the e-waste sector. And he has previously led e-waste operations for RLG in Western and Southern India, and has consulted for Aman e-waste and e-fronting recycling on compliance and operations. Now, I would like to invite Ipsita to take us through the recent updates. And Ipsita, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Arushi, for igniting the session today. I will first of all, give certain recent updates that have been noticed under the e-waste management regulations and the battery waste management regulations. First of all, under the e-waste management, there has been an extension in timeline for filing the annual returns of FY 24-25. The circular was being issued by Central Pollution Control Board on May 21st, 2025, illustrating the same message. Moving on to the next slide. It's a very important implementation under the ROHS compliances for all the EEE categories. This amendment dated July 25 of 2023 mentions that there are the new EEE categories, the 85 new EEE categories that were being introduced under the e-waste management rules of 2022 will have to comply with the ROHS compliances from 1st of April 2025 onwards. Though for the 21 categories that were being, there in the e-waste management rules 2016, there was certain exemption if the sales were done before May 1st, 2014 for the compliant parts. For the spares and components that are covered under the 85 new EEE categories, the compliance will be mandated from April 1st, 2028 onwards. However, please note that for the equipments, the compliance is mandated already from April 1, 2025. The exemptions are there in the medical and lab equipment and the monitoring equipment due to the specialized applications, and defense and strategic equipment also, which are fully excluded from the ROHS compliances. Moving on. There is a new recent update with respect to the draft guidelines for handling the solar photovoltaic module waste. The circular was being released by CPCB as a public notice on 4th of June 2025. This implements the guidelines for handling of the solar photovoltaic modules and has also invited comments till 25th of June 2025 on the two email IDs that are mentioned in the circular, which is wm3cpcb@nic.in and yuthika.cpcb@nic.in. These guidelines majorly highlight that how and what measures should be taken by any facility if the solar photovoltaic module waste is being generated at the facilities. So with respect to the limitation of handling, of collection of waste, of handling, of disposal procedures, and so on. Moving on. Coming to the battery waste management rules, the EC guidelines were being released. Taking a small summary of the EC that were being described in the guidelines, the EC regime 1, which will be calculated separately for two types of batteries, which is lead acid battery and lithium ion and other batteries. So EC regime 1 focuses on the shortfall of the EPR credits mainly. And how it is calculated is based on the cost of handling, collection, and transportation of waste batteries, as well as the processing of the waste batteries. For the lead acid batteries, the cost for handling, collection, and transportation has been accounted as 3,000 per ton. For processing, it is 15,000 per ton. And hence, the total cost for EC for such batteries is 18 rupees per kg. For the lithium ion and other batteries, the cost for handling, collection, and transportation of waste has been accounted as 70,000 per ton, which is 70 rupees per kg. While for the processing, the key metals have been identified under which the processing rates have been clearly distinguished and being displayed on the screen. Moving on to the next slide. Further, the EC regime 1 and EC regime 2 will be there under which the non-compliances will be accounted for. The EC regime 1, as I said, is totally dependent on the shortfall, while the EC regime 2 depends upon the other non-compliance categories. So for the shortfall under EC regime 1, the metal-wise targets are being there. Metal-wise EC cost has been displayed. And accordingly, the 100% and the 30%, the maximum charge and the minimum charge has been calculated and displayed on the screen. The EC regime 2, which talks about the non-compliances, they will be calculated under 3 default stages. The first default stage is calculated as per the application fee of all the producers, recyclers, or the refurbishers. The second default will be twice the first fee, and the third default will be twice the second fee. And EC cost in this regime will increase by 10% every year. So this is a very important thing to note. Moving on. Yeah, that is all. Handing over back to Arushi.
Thank you so much, Ipsita. These updates are quite important for everybody to be aware of. So we will be moving to the highlight of the session, which is our Q&A session. We will be starting with questions. So first of all, Sujan, the first question I want to address towards you. So could you please help us understand the basic registration process under EPR battery portal, and then throw some light on the general process of filing the annual return, since the annual return is approaching us very soon. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Arushi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. So Arushi, for registering on the battery waste portal of CPCBs, firstly, a person needs to assess, whether they are obligated for registration under the battery waste management rules. Secondly, they need to create a login credential wherein a basic KYC details of the authorized signatory and all of those things are required. Once that is created, you get to log in into your portal wherein you are now expected to submit the whole form, wherein there is part B where you have to give the details of the battery which you are importing, the brand under which you are importing, what is the type of battery, let's say it's a lithium ion battery or lead acid battery or that sort of types, nickel, cadmium, zinc, base, others. Then you have to select the battery type. So whether it is a consumer battery or a portable battery or it is non-rechargeable, whether it's an automated battery, industrial battery or EV batteries. According to that, you need to give the HSN code of the battery which you are using. Then you are required to submit the details of the dry weight of the battery which is being sold. If it is for portable products which are rechargeable, then the data has to be given from 2017 18 to the date of registration, whichever is there. And there are different timelines for different batteries. Once you have done that, you are now required to submit the composition of the battery. So the composition of the battery is a critical document wherein you are required to give the percentage composition of the key metals which are there, according to which the target would be allocated to you. Once that is done, you are required to submit various KYC documents like GST, IEC. If you have a CTO, then the CTO, CIN certificate, DIC certificates, and all of those things. And lastly, we are required to make a payment of the registration fees, which is in case your turnover is less than 5 crores, then 10,000. If it is between 5 to 50 crores, it is 20,000. And if it goes more than 50 crores, then it is 40,000. Yeah. And for this also, to prove the turnover, you need to either upload your GSTR 9 or the balance sheet or profit and loss account of the last financial year. I guess, yes, that is it. Then you have to wait for the approval. In case there are any queries, the CPC will raise it on the portal. You might receive an email for the same. You address that and you get a registration certificate.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, so Sujan, after covering this registration process, once the person is registered, now we know that there is the people who are registered, all the obligated entities, they have to file some quarterly returns, some annual returns. So there is a lot of confusion about, filing those annual returns on the portal. What are the documents? What are the details? Or what is the general process of filing this quarterly return or annual return? Can you just throw some light on that?
Okay, so see, for the producers, the returns is annually, and for the recyclers, they have to file a quarterly return. So I'll be taking up the part of producers, wherein the one of the most critical part is while they are taking the composition of the metals at the time of registration. But before you go to annual return filing, what the portal is asking you is the composition again, and here the list of metals are increasing and the expectation is also increasing, saying that let's say I have introduced 20 products in the market. Each of the product category can have a different type of battery. In that case, I have to compute that whole detail. I have to put a weighted average of the percentage which is there for each type of battery. And on the portal, I have to give a consolidated composition. So in this case, while on the portal it just says that give the list or the percentage composition, you need to first calculate the whole composition and the associated target on the portal, and post that there would be a target which is generated. Again, the target which is generated is not as per the SOP which the CPCB had given. So for example, in terms of lithium, the ideal target of the percentage composition is only 75, and for other metals it is at 90%. So there seems to be some sort of non-clarity in terms of how the targets are, being generated lower than what is being reported. Other than that, you are required to submit your sales data while the portal says daily sales data. I doubt if the enforcement is done, but what we suggest our clients are that you need to upload the invoice-wise details on the portal along with the invoice copy and the details which are required. Once you have done these two activities, then you can proceed to the annual return filing fee page, wherein you are required to exhaust the credits. So let's say I have a target of 5 metric tons in lithium. The recycler might give me the credits in kgs. In e-waste, in battery waste, it is quite possible. So in plastic, we only had the minimum quantity was 1 metric ton, but in battery waste, we have 1 kg, we have 10 kg, we have 15 kg. So the denomination will also play a factor, saying that if it's a 1 kg credit, then you will have to do that activity multiple times, and you have to be very particular because let's see, the target which we have calculated and the target which is there on the portal is also a little different. So you need to ensure that all the credits are exhausted and the right quantity is exhausted. Once you have done that, you have to make the payment, which is I guess 10,000 rupees for battery waste management rules, and then you have to file the submit button also. So once you make the payment, the page again reloads, and then the make payment button is shifted to submit button. Once that is done, in the submitted report, you will get the PDF copy, or you will get the copy of the submitted annual return. I hope I was able to clarify the question you require.
Yes, yes. So we had another question. I had a follow-up question, but you have already addressed that question about the percent composition of metals. But
Okay,
any which way,
I would want
yeah,
to
yeah,
Arushi add one more point here. So
yeah.
see, while I understand and I have heard the queries which we have also received, that it is difficult to find the MSDS, but the percentage composition is very important. Reason being, your targets are based on that, and there needs to be a record maintenance at the producer's end with respect to this. So, for example, I have 20 products. I need to have a certificate of MSDS somewhere ready in my backup. I need to have an Excel sheet or something, a spreadsheet or a database ready for that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that is there.
Okay. So, Sujan, is there any ambiguity right now on the portal or while filing annual returns that you want people to be aware of while they are like, filing their annual returns or quarterly returns?
No, so as mentioned, there is some, some concerns with respect to generation of target, but I guess people are able to file the annual returns, and we have been able to file for our clients.
Okay. So, thanks, Sujan.
You're welcome.
Okay, now I will move on to Ipsita. So, Ipsita, for you, the first question that I have is related to battery only. What are the requirements of marking and labeling for battery specifically?
All right. So, first of all, we are aware about three basic requirements that are there and mentioned in the battery waste management rules under the marking and labeling compliances, which is first that we need to mention the name and the EPR registration number of the producer. Second, there has to be a crossed out bin symbol. And third, that the heavy metal content declarations have to be there. Now, with respect to the name and registration number, initially it was required on the battery or the battery pack. But with further clarification, for the imported batteries, it can also be given on the equipment or the packaging. Now, with the amendment of 24th February 2025, the amendment also has allowed that the QR code or the barcode can also be mentioned for the name and the EPR registration number of the producer. This can either be printed on the battery or the battery pack, or the equipment carrying the battery or the battery pack, or even the packaging of the battery or battery pack. So yeah, these three compliances are there.
Okay. So, I have another question that we have received, wherein a person is asking that we procured battery inbuilt products from the local market, and the manufacturer is registered under battery waste management rules. So, are we required to show the sale of these products in our accounts?
Okay. So in this case, first of all, we need to understand that whose product is being introduced in the market. So let us first understand the product here is battery. So if the battery is being introduced under the manufacturer's brand name, then the manufacturer entering the sales details in its producer account, that is sufficient. However, in case wherein the producer is another company or the brand is another company from who it is procuring from a registered manufacturer while introducing the battery in the market through another brand name. So in such cases, the producer will have to upload the sales details. A very simple example could be taken of any automobile. So automobile, let's say it's a Maruti car and it has the Excite battery installed within the car. However, the brand name of the battery is of Excite Industries. So Excite will have to take the sales, or sales has to report the sales in its account.
Okay. Okay. So there's another question regarding battery only. The batteries we import and use in our products do not have a brand name. So are we still liable for the registration?
So in such cases, whoever is introducing the batteries in the products or in the equipment in the market, the particular brand name will be accountable.
Okay. 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 Then one last question from battery is it compulsory to have the MSDS certificate or the details for battery?
Yes, absolutely. It is very much necessary. So the MSD certificate actually tells about that what is the metal content within this battery. And to understand, I mean, it is a very important thing in the battery compliances to report the metal content, within the EPR registration as well. And therefore, the importance comes for the MSDS certificate.
Okay. Okay, Apsita, thank you so much. So we have taken up a lot of battery questions to start with. Now I will be moving to the e-waste question. So I want to bring in Rohan. So Rohan, first of all, welcome to the session. And the first
Thank you.
question that I have for you is that please help us understand what are the timelines for filing e-waste registration and what is the basic process of registering yourself under the e-waste portal and then going through the annual return filing.
Okay, annual return, first of all, you have to file quarterly basis, and then it is yearly. What is the second question again?
So that's the second question is, first of all, you can highlight the timelines of filing e-waste registration, which has recently been changed. And then you can just highlight the process of filing these quarterly returns and annual returns and what are the details that people need to share and how they can do their annual return filing or quarterly return filing.
So the most important part in quarterly return filing is the sales data. So you have to upload the sales data if possible on time, and then everything else is an automated process. Just that in case of producers, you have to add your awareness data. As of now, awareness data is not quantified, but someday it will be, and then we'll have to see how we can go about that.
Okay. So, Rohan, do you want to highlight something about awareness session? Because we had received some questions about awareness session, like, what is the importance of awareness session? Or if somebody wants to have this awareness session, how do they do this awareness session? So can you just put some light on that?
So there is no framework as such that has been given for awareness session, but the awareness session has to, it is just to make sure that people are more aware about how e-waste needs to be handled. And you can do that online. You can do that. You can do a school level activities, or you can do a BTL or ATL kind of an activities. But yes,
Okay.
that has to be showed to registered on the portal at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay. So in e-waste, there was a lot of confusion regarding the obligations and everything, and there was a specific confusion regarding the obligation of gold. Now, if you can help us understand what are the options to fulfill this particular obligation towards gold?
Okay. First option is either you can is defer the gold purchase if you are not able you could not find it with any recycler. So there is a click when you generate your target. You have to just to unclick it. Then you can do is you can purchase more of non-ferrous certificates. So for example, if you have out of 1 kg gold target, you have purchased say 500 grams. So remaining for 50%, you have to purchase copper and aluminium in the percentage uh, of the target that you already have. So for example, that is what is given on our framework as well. So if you have done like 70% of achievement for gold, so remaining 30% you have to purchase copper and aluminium of the weight of the target you had for copper and aluminium.
Okay.
So for example, 9 metric ton you had to purchase copper, you have to add 30% more to it.
Mhm. Okay, great. So yeah, I think people are now much more aware about, how to deal with the gold part of it. So thank you so much, Rohan. So I
Thank you.
will move back to Sujain. So Sujain, another question related to e-waste is annual return fees is required to be paid twice while filing the return for financial year 24-25. How true is that?
So, Arashi, so it's not the annual return fees. It's basically the annual maintenance fees or the
Mhm.
annual maintenance charges, AMC they like to call it.
Okay.
And it's not twice for a year. So basically, what happened is last year when we started filing for annual return, that was the first year when the annual return was filed for under the new e-waste rules. At that time, the module for payment of fees was not available. So the payment for last year was pending. That is being asked for now, along with the payment
Okay.
for this year's submission.
Okay. Okay. Okay, then there's another question that we are an importer of electronic equipment. Under what scenario am I not obligated to take the targets?
So the question should be ideally obligation of targets depends on the products you are selling.
Mhm.
The right question should be registration. So let's say if you are using any triple E equipment for self-use or for captive consumption,
Okay.
or if you are using or you are importing that triple E equipment for selling it to another producer who is registered. In that case, there is a circular issued by the e-waste CPCB for the e-waste management rules, wherein they have mentioned that in under these three scenarios, you don't require a registration. You can simply give a declaration on your letterhead to the custom authorities and mail a copy of the same to the Central Pollution Control Board to get your consignments clear.
So yeah, thank you very much to all the experts, to all the speakers for sharing all your insights and answering all these crucial questions since annual return filing is like approaching us very soon. So thank you very much to all the speakers and thank you so much to all the participants for joining in the session and making it a success. Thank you so much.